Hello, and welcome to this video. Today we're going to be reacting to this. Who is censored more? Liberals versus conservatives. Middle ground. It's by Jubilee. Yeah, this one's going to be interesting, isn't it? So, let's begin.
Welcome back to Middle Ground, and thank you to our sponsor Dashlane for making this episode possible. Make sure you stick around after the episode for a special offer from Dashlane. But first, here is Middle Ground, free speech versus censorship.
What? Oh, okay, clearly they renamed it. Oh, okay.
Take, for example, like white supremacy. They don't go away because you censored them.
Are they going to stop being a white supremacist?
Neither the murderers. Like, then there's anyone who's committed a horrible action, like, or has horrible thoughts.
I don't give a
Come on.
I do feel safer.
Tech platforms play a big part in facilitating hate today.
Twitter specifically has banned a number of different conservative accounts, not just the president.
They can do whatever they want. They're private businesses.
I think that people
I mean, to an extent, yeah, but it's like if someone is a private business and they murder their workers, you don't just go, they're a private business, they can do what they want. If they murder their workers, that's fine. They're a private business. They can just not obey the law. Oh, wait, what's that? Oh, do they do it? Okay, well, yeah. I mean, most private businesses don't obey the law. Big ones, that I mean.
people should be able to say whatever they want online. However, I think that there should also be consequences.
The president of one of the most powerful countries in the world doesn't have access to social media.
I think
social media. Like, and then more than one. But like, it's like, yeah, except their own one. That one. Yeah.
platforms have a right to monitor.
Yeah. No offense, but if your president is a Nazi, yeah, I mean,
content.
We really have to be able to discern who gets a voice and what they're able to say.
We need people in the conservative field to fight for our right to be conservative.
As somebody who...
What the fuck? Buddy. You have a two-party state. Both parties are conservative, and the other party, which is the Republican Party, is kind of like almost more than conservative. They're like almost like they're more right-wing than that. So yeah, no like offense meant here, but fucking vote for one of the like two parties that you get into power. Like literally, the only other people that get into power in America that aren't like Republican and Democrat are independents.
who has experienced censorship, it ends up generating these chambers in which these ideas go completely unchallenged.
And everybody kind of has to
That's what laws are for, buddy.
ask themselves, should everybody really be able to say what they want to say?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Leah Thomas. I am a writer and the founder of Intersectional Environmentalists, which is an online environmental media hub.
I haven't heard of it, but...
Hi, I'm Lawrence. I'm a public policy analyst for San Bernardino County.
Hi, I'm Bennett Kelly. I'm the founder of the Internet Law Center, and I'm an attorney who represents victims of online harassment.
I'm Michael, I'm 30, I'm conservative, and I work in finance.
My
No, I was surprised. Fucking Egypt.
name is Jerome. I'm a political science student. I am 21, and I'm originally
Oh, I know this guy. I know this guy, just really stupid, like.
from Massachusetts.
Hello, I'm
Yeah.
Joseph. I'm an accountant and I'm working towards my CPA and I'm a part-time poker player.
Oh, you're a gambler. Oh, well.
The prompt is, the right is more censored than the left.
I mean, we think it's obvious, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming most of us are all conservative-ish, in that spectrum, but I think that
He's like, Yeah, we all said we were conservative.
A lot has happened during the January 6th riots. That's why we see it more, and that's why it's more big of a problem now.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, last time I checked, when you plan a coup and you do a coup, generally, things don't work out well for you. In many cases, you get killed. What I'm saying is, if the coup fails, obviously, which this one did, kind of. You know, like, I'm just saying, you gotta get off lucky here. If it's just like, we actually don't want you planning any more coups on our platform.
Parler can't even be on the App Store, or
Yeah, because it doesn't have an. Do you understand? The App Store does not want to get banned itself for allowing an illegal app. You know, if an app started like, imagine if an app was publicly saying, we will download malware onto your phone and steal all of your financial information, and then we'll sell it online to you. Boom! Yeah! Yeah! And we sell to everyone, like, just every single person. Like, in that scenario, that app is obviously not allowed to do that. But the App Store is going to find, it's going to have people knocking at the door saying, why haven't you banned it yet? You know it's bad. Why haven't you banned it? It's actually illegal. You need to ban that app.
or you know, I mean, Trump got kicked off Twitter. I mean, he's the leader of the free world, basically.
He's not the leader of the fucking free world. It wasn't even then, for fuck's sake. Look, this is uploaded 21. I'm just gonna say, first of all, like, wait, in 21. Oh, is this guy like, okay? First of all, it wasn't even them anyway. You know, the point is, like, I don't see how he would be anyway. Trump was never the leader of the free world. For fuck's sake, like, you know, America's not free.
Yeah, at least for the U.S., and you know, he doesn't even have access to a social media platform.
I don't know.
No, that social media platform. Also, yeah. So, he's the fucking president. If he needs to make a statement, it's not like people are saying you can't make a statement as president. No, he can go on if he was when he was the president, he could go on and do all these things, you know. Also, he's not the president at this current moment. I guess maybe he is when if you're watching this in the future. The thing is, he can do it now. Everyone listens to him, you know.
I think there was Twitter, which was left-leaning, long before there was something like Parler.
Well, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sorry to break it to you, buddy, but yeah, yeah, you know, I don't really see. I don't really see, you know, how Twitter is left wing. Wow, would you look at this, huh? Oh, my. Wow. Oh, my. Anyway, so.
There was Twitter, which was left-leaning, long before there was something like Parler.
Now, the thing is, Twitter's not left wing. It's actually a private business. It makes very little money, and ever since the old rat took it over, you know, it made significantly less money, and that drove itself into the ground, basically. Not that much below as of recording. It's still working away, but you know, the point is, inherently speaking, when we look at this, we have to go, okay, but it's not left wing. First of all, it does a lot of censoring of left wing people, and also, you know, if you shout abuse at someone, yeah, you could get banned. You're a lot more likely to get banned, by the way, if you're followed a lot more, which is why celebrities are more likely to get banned, because people are more likely to flag them, and that's sort of the point, you know.
Well, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I think that these echo chambers that are created as a result of censorship are a reaction. They're reactionary. They're not necessarily, they wouldn't exist by themselves if right-leaning people weren't being.
So you're just like, okay, let's just let Nazis take over and propagandize to people. No, let's not.
Yeah.
I guess I disagree because usually when I think of conservatives, I do think of the party of law and order. So that was definitely something that Trump spoke about often, like there are consequences to your actions. Maybe more people could read the terms and conditions and find a platform that they feel more comfortable with, like Parler, 4chan.
But what Trump said wasn't really as bad as what I've seen other Democrats say.
Well, I guess
they're not the president, and they're not followed as much, so that would be the reason for that.
To not deflect, what should be the appropriate consequences when someone...
Yeah, it's also like kind of like a blame. They're like, you said something worse, so we shouldn't ban this because you didn't ban this. What? No. What's that kind of an argument? No, ban them both.
Someone violates the terms and conditions.
I think it should be like a clear punishment.
Also, worse. What do you mean by worse?
Right? It shouldn't be a punishment, like especially for like being kicked off. It should be for everybody. Yeah. But if that is the solution, that has to be the solution for everyone.
So, No Name, Sean King are two of the most prominent left-leaning activists that I know of. And they have been repeatedly banned from Twitter, suspended from Facebook, Instagram kicked them off. And then when it happens to Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro, we hear conservative voices are being, but it's the exact same thing that was happening.
Aww, poor Benny.
Happening on the left, that's now happening on the right. So I think the problem is the conservative, I don't see you, the conservatives that believe this rhetoric is being suppressed, I don't think they know the other side is dealing with the same thing.
There's no real history of which I'm aware of left-leaning creators being blacklisted the way that guys like Alex Jones, James Woods.
Alex Jones broke the law, buddy. If he was in a different country, he'd be in prison right now. Do you understand that? He'd be in prison right now. He'd be locked up and in jail. So, yeah, well, maybe not right now. He probably would have served his sentence because he would have been arrested a long time ago. So maybe he would have come out, but what I'm saying is, he would have gone to prison. So that's the point. Maybe don't pick people who should be in prison.
Donald Trump have been.
Yeah.
Alex Jones was on this journalistic scene for 30 years, and they erased all 30 years of that.
How about the White House YouTube channel? They eliminated all of Trump's videos.
But 2.65 million subscribers. Just saying.
All of them.
Do you not see the difference though? Because Sean King says abolish the police, and
do you see this?
No, say Alex Jones, for example, says Jewish people are the only.
And the thing is, right? Keep in mind, Alex Jones is a pretty wealthy fella. Like, it was managed to slink out a lot of stuff. So, yeah.
Most of the property in America, and if you want to deal with property owners, deal primarily with Jewish people in 2015. So obviously there's a stark difference in rhetoric and consequence even. You call the virus Kung Flu, and then a rise in violence against Asian Americans.
But who called it Kung Flu?
President Trump.
Did he say it directly though?
Yeah, very direct.
Best not,
He tweeted it, yeah.
He tweeted
so,
it?
And he said it.
There are reasons for the differences in consequences.
I think your man is like, okay, yeah. Your man is sort of like, okay, buddy, maybe be a little more educated when you're gonna make an argument.
But I think
defending like an individual person. It's one thing to defend like an ideology, and you use a person as a thing. But when you're like, that person in particular shouldn't have been banned, they're the leader of the free world. When you start saying that, then you start making it seem like, well, now you're defending that person in particular, not just the ideology. Because if it's just the ideology, you go, well, you don't really know that person. That's just an example of a person you believe it's censored. Maybe you're a little bit wrong about that person. But once you start saying, well, this person, then you make it seem like you know it. And then when it looks like you don't know it, it looks bad.
If we understand that it's happening widespread, because I've seen people on the left say kill cops, permanently banned, permanently like done.
Right.
So I think we have to take a step back, remove ourselves.
Yeah, well, obviously, I don't think you should kill cops. I mean, unless they're particularly bad.
From the box that we're in and kind of, okay, is it
see certain things, like, obviously. But not in general, obviously. You know. Anyway, even if you do, like, don't do it on Halloween, because next thing you're going to see some, well, even around other times of the year, because other people, they won't be police officers, but they will be dressed up in police officer costumes.
Happening over here too.
There's ideas that exist on and offline that are abominable, that I disavow unequivocally, but that I subscribed to when I was younger. You know, when I was younger, didn't understand what I was necessarily looking
I mean, that doesn't speak well for you, does it? Like, I've never been a Nazi.
at, didn't have enough worldview or perspective to...
See, the point is, I've never been a Nazi. So it takes a little bit more than just, well, I didn't have worldview. It's like, yeah, but how did you get those views? Because unless your parents or your atmosphere, or like your teachers or your siblings or your friends / just like general people around you are that way, then how exactly did you discover that?
Know that these were not good ideas, but because that they were censored by the forums that I was espousing them in, I never had the opportunity to have them challenged. I would never
What?
have the opportunity to have a conversation about why these were bad ideas. There was no purveyance of the ideological free market, and that's really the only way for these ideas to go away. Take, for example, like white supremacy. People who have those beliefs don't go away when you ban them from platforms. Those beliefs don't go away when you tell them to shut up. Those beliefs don't go away when you punch them in the face.
As I said, originally, neither do murderers.
Or when you revoke their rally permits.
But when do we draw the line? Because if somebody, let's use Kung Flu, for example, what I said earlier. Let's say it's Alex Jones that says, oh, this is a Chinese virus. They brought it here. And then we see a rise in hate crimes against Asian Americans. When do we draw?
Kind of makes, Americans stupid people as well. Like, it's like, there are other countries other than China and Asia. So even if, he wasn't being a racist bigot, even if he was being correct, then in that case, you're still a fucking idiot, because you're still going after the wrong person, you fucking moron. It's like, Jesus Christ, this is the problem with people, Like, to be fair, there's stupid people who are willing to do it, so,
Draw the line, because he would still have the platform.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should deprive the people who are actually committing these crimes of the agency in committing them.
Right.
They are doing that, and they frankly would be doing that regardless of whether or not there was somebody who was using inflammatory.
No, they wouldn't though. That's the point. They're looking for inspiration,
Inflammatory rhetoric online. That's exactly my point when I say these ideas don't go away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the ideas don't, but actually they actually kind of do as well. They stop generating as much. Like if you ban misogynist, you'll see less. Like young people becoming misogynistic pricks.
And then you feed those ideas, you build the anger.
So for example, if you ban a white supremacist or a huge white supremacist group from Twitter, there's still probably going to be white supremacists chilling and hanging out outside of Twitter.
Right.
But it would be harder for that white supremacist group on that platform to inflict harm towards black folks, right? Because then I do feel safer. So if I'm being harassed by a white supremacist group or someone who's saying that black people don't deserve to live, I do feel safer as the user. Are they going to stop being a white supremacist? I don't give a fuck. I don't care. They can do whatever.
Censoring, I guess.
What they want to do, that's their free speech. However, it does make me feel a lot safer.
I just think the left is now catching more up to us and realizing that the censorship is happening, and then now it's kind of touching their side too more, and maybe.
Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Jesus Christ, this was an absolute idiot, isn't he? Oh my god almighty, he is just a fucking idiot. Like, at least your man, like, man here, at least your man is like, oh, I don't know about him, but like, your man's like, okay, yeah. He's got a bit of sense in him. Nah, I mean, still a bit of a fool, but like, this fella is just an idiot, like an active idiot. He's like, they're getting it too now, so they realize is definitely considered left wing. It's always been left wing. It's a privately owned company. It's a privately owned company that is in it for profit. They're a bit fucking like they're fucking shit at it, but like, they're in there for profit. But yeah, they're left wing. Definitely.
That the censorship is happening, and then now it's kind of touching their side too more, and maybe with Sean King you see it. I've definitely seen it pick up more in the past few months.
Do you know some of the biggest shareholders in Twitter, both now and before, was Saudi Arabia? Now, you really think, like, when I say Saudi Arabia, I mean like Saudi Arabian royal family. Do you think they are exactly like left wing? It's like, yeah, I don't think so.
It's on both sides.
With the left, the example I gave was from 2014.
I know.
That's been around for a while, even when you're looking at the civil rights movement and you're looking at the literal burning down of civil rights headquarters and things like that. My parents and my grandparents and my great-grandparents in the civil rights movement were continuously policed and harassed for their beliefs, violently so, jailed for their beliefs. So I find it's hard for me to compare when civil rights folks are being imprisoned and killed for their beliefs. However, because a conservative can't use Twitter, I'm supposed to feel bad.
Well, I don't think there's a comparison. What I wonder is whether or not there is a leftist ideologue, someone who is similar to Alex Jones or someone like that was blackballed from 6 social media platforms over the course of 12 hours.
Who? On the left, it doesn't really happen at all. Look at.
I think the reason behind that might be because I hope to God you wouldn't categorize Alex Jones as a conservative, because Alex Jones is a Nazi outlet. Like, it just is. I'm not calling Alex Jones a Nazi. I think Alex Jones is really just a profiteer. A fella who likes to make a lot of money out of his operations. Like, a lot of money. So there's that. Like, that's the point.
What they admonish, like abolish police, give everybody health care. Like, what in that world, what in that realm would be like, you're done. You don't need to. You're talking about killing people.
So we're saying burn it all down this summer during the riots.
Buildings, but that's not.
But that's still people's property. They built it. They saved their whole savings.
They didn't actually build it themselves. Builders built it, but anyway, yeah. I've built stuff, like, physically with my hands, but I haven't really built it on my own, have I? Because someone needed to make the raw materials for me, so, I still haven't built it on my own, I was the only one who actually built it, like, put the raw materials together, but, like, someone's still required to make the raw materials. The point I'm making is they didn't build it. That's semantics, though, so.
2 billion damages as a country. We need to say that violence is bad, burning people's.
But don't fucking cut people, okay? Don't hurt people. Do you understand that? If you hurt someone, if you do not give someone, if you oppress them, they will have to find a way of getting you to pay attention. If you do not allow them to have this way, if you continually force everyone into this line, they will have to act on that, and they'll have to do something about that.
Stuff is bad.
And killing.
I think we need to give perspective to
unarmed
it.
people
Yeah, it has to be context. Yeah, because we can't say burning buildings is bad and not understand the reason as to why they're burning. I don't agree with burning them, but we kind of got to give context to both.
Yeah. Also, how exactly? No. Actually, this is actually an argument against here. How exactly will you achieve equality? How will you achieve a government that actually cares about the people? How will you achieve a situation in which police don't kill innocent civilians because of the color of their skin? How will you achieve that if you do not force the people who have the power to do that to do that? Because they're not fucking going to do that now, are they?
We can't just say this is all terrible.
You know, I don't want to be anecdotal about this, but at the same, so my parents are immigrants. You know, they work for everything that they have. My mom, she came from a family of 6.
Well, not necessarily. If you bring money with you, then.
And they didn't have a lot when they came to this country. And each of their siblings, including my mom, they had to work for everything that they have. And they made something of themselves. So and then we also have rental properties. So if one of them burned down because of a riot, that's our life savings right there.
Insurance.
We put a lot of money into that.
Insurance.
Do you know, so I guess...
Also, it's your life savings? Wait, what? So wait, are you homeless then? Is that it? So you're homeless, but also you have a rental property. So you just have a property rent out. Well, I mean, I guess I didn't have. If I had a property, I mean, that's your life savings, but also it's a rental property.
Let's take it back to the civil rights movement, because usually I think the future sometimes is a better indicator of what's like morally right and wrong. I lived about 10 minutes from Ferguson and was there when those buildings were burning down, and it was incredibly terrifying. But I also remember the business owners who said, I can replace my windows. What I can't replace is a lost child. So hearing those business owners, hearing them, I can talk about them hypothetically and how I hypothetically think they might feel, but I also can talk about people who had their own buildings burned down.
Of course, you know, and
insurance.
People who do say that they're on like, you know, the Black Lives Matter side, of course.
Not necessarily, a lot of them are white.
But at the same time, you know, like I go back to business because, you know, I'm an accountant, you know, I care about the numbers and all that stuff. But
and I care about Black lives.
Yeah, and when you see that check come in from your insurance agent, unless maybe they refuse to pay you, in which case,
You
know, anyway.
I don't care about Black Lives, but also too, like a lot of misinformation was spread about those riots too, with the hands up, don't shoot. They said that he
Sorry, what? What was that?
was facing backwards, and they found out that he wasn't, and he didn't have his hands up.
You're talking about last year, or
no?
That's what started this.
Let's just not.
Well, I mean, they're spreading the misinformation, and then it also.
And also, if you'd like to have the perspective, so I was there that day. Unfortunately, and we can talk about censorship. So after he was killed, he was on the ground for 4 hours. Our radio stations were turned off, and our news stations were turned off. So we didn't have information as to what was going on, which I agree allowed misinformation to spread.
Exactly.
However, to
yeah, buddy, shut the fuck up.
Say that, so no, I'm not agreeing with you, but I'm saying maybe like know what the people in that community were faced with before speaking on something that you don't know.
No, it's terrible. That's terrible. The censorship of those radio stations is awful, and I think it contributed to a lot of
misinformation.
Not just misinformation, but pain and destruction that happened within those communities because people weren't being given the information they were entitled to.
Yeah.
You know, I think that in itself is an argument against censorship for sure.
Tech companies should be allowed to ban whoever they want.
What the What? Sorry, what?
It's a hard one, honestly, because is it whoever, just based on what they deem is wrong? Like, I don't know.
You know,
You're in Korea, though.
I worked in a country club once, and they had this strict dress code for employees and even for members. I mean, you can, as long as it's legal.
That's the one caveat. I mean, you can't say no Jews, no whatever.
As long as they
no Irish,
they have a set terms and conditions, then they can ban whoever they want. They shouldn't just ban whoever, you know.
Well, I think they should be able to say, okay, you're done, even if it doesn't necessarily impede on the terms and conditions.
Basically, I think what we're having is a free market response, saying they let them do what they want and let consumers go where they are, but you have to have a functioning free market where people can go somewhere else.
But they can't right now, though. That's the problem.
They can, though.
Who wouldn't be able to go? So
Parler being removed from the app.
YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You know, those are the main ones, but you could have just You know, you probably got your Tumblr, you know?
Web services and App Store, and basically it's an antitrust law kind of thing because
it's not really, no, it's just that Apple just don't want to get sued for having an illegal app on their App Store.
Basically they're trying to create a monopoly between all the social media like Twitter.
No, they just don't want to have Nazis on their App Store. That's just kind of it.
Facebook, and I think that's what I got off of it.
I've actually talked to an owner of one platform who says they do more to combat hate speech on a per person basis than some of the larger entities, but they still can't get picked up on Apple and the Google Play.
That's my problem.
The market isn't functioning properly then.
Like, okay, should Twitter have the leader of Hezbollah?
I hate to break it to you, but I know this might come as an unfortunate surprise, but people do not use social media apps because of how good they are for their mental health, how good they are for fact-checking, how good they are for all this. People use them because of who's on there. Either it's going to be friends or it's going to be celebrities. In the case of Twitter, it's because it's celebrities. It's going to be because people who are famous, who you like to follow. And then in the case of other social media apps, it's going to be friends. And then obviously you will also see that sort of content there. So that's sort of the point there. That's the point. So you're not going to build you're not going to really have an app that's going to succeed if it doesn't have famous people on it or friends, or just a lot of people on it. You know what I mean?
Be on Twitter. They're listed as a terror group by the UN, by the EU. Twitter. They're listed as Twitter have the leader of Hezbollah be on Twitter. They're listed as a terror group.
Political party.
By the UN, by the EU and the US.
Well,
he's still on Twitter.
The EU is really reliable for that sort of thing, isn't it?
They've been sued over that.
I mean, have they?
And they've been sued over that, but as long as the tweets aren't promoting terror or violating the terms,
also a political party. Hezbollah is a political party in Lebanon.
I know Bin Laden's dead, but if he were alive and he made a Twitter and he didn't tweet anything that violated the terms and conditions, to his point, wouldn't they be able to still stay on the platform?
And I think that
I
think that should be fair because you need. Well,
not necessarily. I agree. They should just ban them.
But I'm just saying that if they have a set guidelines and set rules, they shouldn't and they follow them. Then why would you kick them off in the first place?
I mean, the point is though, you need to kick someone off if they're going to break the law. See, if someone is posting content which is stolen, that breaks copyright law. If they post content which, is hateful, that can break laws around hate speech. There are laws around these things, and you've got it. This is the whole point when Twitter was acquired. It's that you do want to be careful. Just going by the person going, oh yeah, you read that free speech. There are laws against certain activities. If you just allow those activities to continue, that's breaking the law, and that's how you get your thing banned. I have to say, I think if I was a country that wanted to control people, that would be my first thing when Elon Musk took over Twitter. Just ban the thing. It's a perfect excuse to ban it because it's like, well, look at him. No one's gonna go, oh no, you can't ban it. Actually, you can because it breaks laws, doesn't it?
I mean, if it violates their terms and conditions, I think they can ban whoever they want, but I guess just a hypothetical, if all of a sudden they were like, we don't want to see breastfeeding, so we're going to ban everyone just because we want to. Technically they can because they're a private, business entity, but I guess morally it kind of rubs me the wrong way.
I want to agree, but I feel like if I do agree, then I feel like I would be giving social media and tech companies far too much importance. Right. People exist without social media. I don't think if you ban somebody that's like a morally egregious act.
I think you'd be shocked the number of people, especially like my age and younger, who get their news exclusively from social media. My worry about it is that the algorithms of these companies do not incentivize nuance.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time you see what trends is what is getting clicks, and a lot of the time that's controversy.
But sometimes too though, they artificially put things that are trending up there that really aren't.
Well, the problem is,
really?
it's the
They're trending because they're on the trending page. That's kind of the idea, though, isn't it, buddy? That's sort of the point. See, trending is kind of a thing where they're like, okay, when we say trending, we kind of just mean popular, which basically just means popular people / topics. So obviously, with something like Twitter, it doesn't really work because popular people, you're not necessarily seeing that person. But for example, if you go to YouTube, right? Let's go to YouTube and we go to our sort of trending page. This is the trending page. This is what the trending page is. Whoa, yay, how fantastic, isn't it? That's a trending page. Would you look at that? It's all super popular people. The point is, that's trending because they're popular people.
Wizard of Oz.
Reddit did that and Twitter does that too.
We don't know what those algorithms are, but there are suspicions that they are trying to fuel conflict.
Right.
And conflict creates clicks, which creates comments, which
Also this is that, you see here, if,
what those algorithms are, but there are suspicions that they are trying to fuel conflict.
Like,
right.
And
if you have your man here, if he's sitting there and he's got a Nazi friend, that Nazi friend is going to get Nazi stuff. That's just a fact. Like, that's going to be what's going to occur there. Because in that situation, that is someone who's going to respond well to that.
Conflict creates clicks, which creates comments, which creates engagement. And so in some ways, social media is dividing us as much as it is bringing people together in this big platform.
Oh, they definitely profit off of the division too.
When we talk about the terms and
Yeah, well, I mean, profit off of it is, yeah.
agreements, it's interesting because there's nothing that says incitement of violence, but if we do put incitement of violence, then Trump didn't really incite, I believe he didn't incite them because he didn't say, oh, go to the Capitol and, beat them
Break
up.
down the door.
Kind of did, though, didn't he? I mean, kind of,
Doors and windows.
But you have people.
They were reading out his tweets. Do you know that they're reading out his tweets to rile up the crowd? That seems like to me like he kind of incited the violence. Maybe not intentionally, but it certainly did.
People on, during the Black Lives Matter movement saying, be restless, break down stuff, punch in.
Because that's how you get things done. That's how you get attention onto something. Because guess what, buddy? Anyone can just go, yeah, no, that protest didn't happen. Shush now. No, didn't happen. Yeah, that's not gonna happen if you burn down a building. Burn down the building. Yeah, you're gonna find an excuse for that.
Nazi in the face.
Maybe if you communicated with those people, you would know that a lot of people were banned. There were mass bannings of Black Lives Matter supporters since Antifa. 2014. I personally don't know anyone who identifies as Antifa. That's usually something that I hear as like a talking point on the right. But personally, I know they exist, but I don't know much about them, so would love for you to explain. So, I mean, they are getting banned, right?
I personally don't think so because, I think, maybe small people, because I focus on the big
social justice account showing.
I feel like it's larger people who actually sit in violence, like Maxine Waters, Chris Cuomo, Don Lemon,
Chris Cuomo's inciting violence?
He said who said protests have to be peaceful?
Yeah.
I think
you fucking bastard. Fuck you. Do you understand, you utter idiot, how this happens? Someone in power is not gonna fucking care if you hold a little protest. What's that to them? That's great political power for them. They can now say, look at those people are rising up. They want to take something from me. They want to take something. And that gets them more support. That helps them. Okay? Do you understand that, you fucking moron? Do you understand that? That's the point. Protests inevitably can cause problems for themselves because they can be used. There was before, like protests are oftentimes used when it holds people in power. If they'll say, oh look, they protest against the other candidate. Yeah, look, they're very large. They really, that's the thing. The whole issue surrounding this is inherently there's always gonna be a bit of manipulation there.
I think a good basis point to look at that from is whether or not someone who goes on and incites violence, who is a politician, is being treated differently than someone who goes on and incites violence and is a protest organizer. I think as a concern, yes, the inequitable enforcement of terms and conditions is a concern to me on whatever.
Okay, can I put this to you? Just this, this is just one thing. Obviously, celebrities, people who have heavily followed accounts / heavily watched and followed in the other sense of the word accounts are going to get more flags, are going to be more likely to be banned, are more likely to be suspended, because when they say something, there's more likely that people will go and point the site to the really thing into attention to the site, that kind of thing. That's just going to occur. That's just a fact. That's just how it's going to work, because they're obviously, if someone's is on a social media platform and their post gets viewed millions of times, gets viewed 10 million times, if it's something bad and people would flag it, it's a lot more likely to get flagged than something that has one view.
Whatever side it's on. And I think back to their various examples. I think one.
But of course, the point is the thing that has one view. That's one person with one view. But that's there'll be there'll be a million copies of that.
One is the Covington kids. Are you guys familiar with this?
Of course, yeah.
Where a
Okay,
a lot of people were putting things like, oh, we're going to kill these kids, we're going to feed these kids into the wood chipper, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they weren't really getting banned from it.
Yeah.
And there was postulation in right-leaning circles that it was because those kids were wearing MAGA hats.
No, it's because they're being pricks. That's a joke, by the way. Not really. It's not really a joke. I'm just saying it. It's just I'm not serious there. No, it's,
Cancel culture is a conversation that has been happening in liberal spaces as well. Maybe we don't have Fox. I don't know. We have these other stations, but maybe it's just not reported on a lot. However, I do hear so many conversations.
What station is left wing that's heavily watched?
It's about cancel culture, forgiveness, and accountability happening in liberal circles as well.
TubeBuddy helps your YouTube videos get seen. Sure wish it could also help remind me why I went into the kitchen.
Does it?
What am I looking for?
What is it called?
Spreading lies should be protected as free speech.
What? Wait. They're literally saying they are spreading lies. Not people are saying they're spreading lies. They are spreading lies. And then you're agreeing with that.
My thing here is that I think we have to be very attentive to who we make the arbiter of the truth.
When I think
well, there's some things that just are true.
About lies and people's lies, I think about people's truths, people's perspective, people's opinions, and that should be protected in that sense, because if you feel something and you believe in something or you have an opinion on something, that is your truth. That is, well, maybe to some people it's a lie, maybe to most of the people it's a lie, but that's your truth and you have the right to say your truth, right? When Donald Trump started this campaign of, the election was rigged, he actually does believe that. That is his truth.
Does he though? Does he? Or does he just want to keep a hold of his power? And knows that if he says that, people will believe it, and that'll keep him in power. Or try to.
It seemed like a lie to a lot of people on the left, and probably some people on the right. But he has the right to
Wait, is he elected there?
Say that. There's nothing in the Constitution, there's no law saying.
Well, the question that begs is who says whether it's a lie?
Yeah.
Who decides it's a lie?
Yeah, who's the arbiter, like you said.
if we allow lies to be spread as part of like a free speech, then we have what we have now currently is, I think 500,000 people now died of coronavirus. And a lot of them died on account of just lies. You know, if you wear a mask, you know, you can't breathe in it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to social distance. This is a liberal hoax. So if we protect lies in the realm of free speech, they have real life, real time consequences.
You know, we protect people from certain things that are dangerous. And if I said, you know, or, you know, take this placebo, don't, you know, because it'll cure cancer, and people did that and died, that would be dangerous.
Theoretically, you would be liable, correct?
I would be liable
if you
too,
use
yeah.
your credentials to say drink.
No, actually. Only if you sold it. If you sold it, you'd be liable. But if you didn't sell it, if you just said it, you could be sued, I guess. But
this and it will cure your cancer, and
Right.
someone did that, you would be liable.
But would CBS?
I mean, you could be sued, but you'd only really be criminally liable if you sold it.
Give me airtime for a commercial for that. No.
We complain as conservatives that there's not enough fact checkers that are on the right. There's Snopes, there's fact check, they're on the left, but there needs to be someone to take.
Snopes is on the left?
Oh yeah.
How does the fact check become?
Yeah, the owner.
The facts are.
Donated.
Yeah.
Last I checked, facts.
Yeah.
Well, if they're actually a fact check.
Well,
yeah.
are there any that you all support that we could like look into, or do you think that's something that like Republicans could try to
That's
make
what
more
I mean.
like
There
think
needs to be.
It just feels though like you're trying to just pick and choose. Also, kind of becomes concerning if you're just like, no, I don't accept this fact check. This one wasn't fact checked by this. Okay, and why wasn't it? Oh, I think I know why actually.
I personally think that Snopes and Politico are by and large very accurate.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, I think, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you continue, please.
No, I think that they're by and large very accurate, but I think as with literally any media source, I mean, you can't look at, there's nothing that will be the unequivocal truth.
Right.
There's nothing, you know, so you need to like look at,
things
I
are
mean, well, you need to
based
look
on
at it and know that it's
scientific
being written
method.
from a
Yeah.
place of bias. Oh, I mean, sure, like hydroxychloroquine is not going to like cure you of COVID.
Right,
You know,
but that's not liberal or conservative, that's just true.
That's stupid or
I guess
not stupid.
It depends. It depends. It depends if it's like an opinion, and then it also depends if people, like politicians, love throwing out different statistics and studies.
Well, there are certain things that are like liberal that are, sorry, not liberal, are left wing, which are not actually facts. You know, they are opinions. But there are a lot of things that are right wing that are very much like just not factually accurate.
And things like that, and as like a little sciencey person, I do believe in the scientific method for the most part, and I think that things should be tested over and over and over again. And a
lot of times, you know, you'll hear this from people who are very capitalist in nature, are often like, you know, just a bit on the you know, they're a bit on the side of sort of not quite scientific accurate, let's just say.
I think providing those, like, if a politician is saying a statistic, I think there should be some sort of fact-checking body. However, I am totally on board with there being a fact-checking body that is, say, 50% Republican, 50% Democrat. I think that's totally fine.
There is political bias, I'm sure, in the Snopes realm. Somebody on the corporate board is liberal. You said the CEO, fine. But there is true and untrue. And if we begin to link those two with like political affiliations, then it's dangerous because we have no realm of truth.
There are lies that are harmful, Lawrence, like you were describing. You know, there are a lot of lies that are harmful and have caused a lot of harm, but giving the government the power to arbitrate what is and isn't true, I think can also cause a lot of harm as well.
We're far more, we should worry far more about the social sphere than the governmental sphere because we have the First Amendment.
I mean, yeah, but that's sort of the point, though. It's like, well, you know, you do want to be a little bit more careful in that scenario because you do want to be in a situation where, like, well, you know, you do, like, what governments in the past have used their power to restrict media. Well, you see the Hungarian government, you see the Nazi government in Germany, you see all these things, and it's always like, well, they always tend to be pretty bad, you know.
That's First Amendment should trump all. That's at least where I sit.
I mean, I would get that right now.
Right. I think for individuals too.
Well, no, I mean, the First Amendment is about government restriction on speech.
Yeah,
exactly.
So a lot of people that say I got banned on Twitter and my First Amendment rights were violated. No, that's a private.
Yeah, it's a private company. I get it.
Some people should not have a platform.
Oh. Your man doesn't agree? No, not him. Wow. Fucking Christ, this is disgusting. What the fuck? Hey. The fucking Christ.
I know this kind of goes against my freedom of speech outlook, but like we were saying before, like I don't want to see Hezbollah having, a Twitter feed, or I don't want to see, ISIS having a Twitter feed. There's definitely a fine line. I can't say everyone deserves a platform.
There's this thing called the paradox of tolerance.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's essentially saying that if we're tolerant of everybody, if we give everybody a voice, and we're like, all right, everything everybody says is okay as long as you feel that way. If we're tolerant of everything, then eventually our tolerance will be snuffed out by people that are intolerant.
I think if they're causing harm, so like...
Yeah. I mean, like, if you let, like, fascist propaganda enter your media spaces, whether it is your conventional, traditional media outlets, like your TV, like your radio, like your newspapers, or it is your new outlets. I'm going to put in, like, newspapers as, like, websites as traditional as well, even though that's not going to do it that way. But, like, if you look at social media, if you let them out, guess what? You're going to get fascists. You know why? Because they're willing to lie and they're willing to say anything. And that's sort of the point. Because when your ideology is entirely, the point of your ideology is to oppress people, you're hardly going to be too much against, oppressing a few voices and, like just ignoring a few things,
All were all saying, that's when, and like serious harm. I don't think that we should encourage that. So whether that's like the illegal trade of an endangered species or that's a terrorist organization, I think as a society we should kind of...
The reason why I didn't come forward is because, I think it goes back to cancel culture in the sense, like people who...
Fucking God. Little fascist boy here, little fascist boy. Life is to keep the fascists on power, huh?
Who have been espoused from society because they did something so wrong is that...
Cancel culture.
Yeah, and people do bad things and people have committed like terrible things to people or someone or, group of people. But I think forgiveness should be an element and people should have their...
Okay, let's not have prisons then. That's the argument there.
Chance to get back on their platforms.
Okay, so let's not have prisons. If you commit a crime, it's fine. Is that the attitude?
I don't know, doing something. I personally don't know what the social media companies would do, but...
It's also like, I guess, deplatforming versus banning versus just people not really wanting to mess with them anymore. And usually the people who are really vocal about cancel culture sometimes are people who they still have their platform, they still have their Twitter, they still have their Instagram. They're just...
As well as this, and I've said this so many times, if you're a frequent viewer of the channel, which you probably aren't, I'm going to say, if you got this far, basically, inherently speaking, when you look at this, you have to say, well, hold on a little second here. Why not just create another account? There is nothing stopping me if I'm banned off Facebook, banned off Twitter, just from clicking a few buttons and creating another account. Now, there is one thing you will lose, and that's your itty bitty platform. That is something you won't be able to keep.
Just mad that society has been like, R. Kelly, we don't like you. Or like, you know what, we don't like that you caused a bunch of harm to people.
Right. The other thing I think about with deplatforming is that you rob somebody of their opportunity for absolution. So if Alex Jones were to decide, and for somebody whose platform is their livelihood, not whose platform or who has a livelihood outside of their platform, like J.K. Rowling, when you take that away from them, if he were to suddenly turn around and he were to say, okay, the frogs aren't gay, and like
he was right about the frogs,
these
though,
people
which
aren't
is weird.
controlling the weather, he would have no platform to come and say that, which I consider frogs aren't gay.
What?
If he were to suddenly, like J.K. Rowling, is their livelihood, not whose platform or who has a livelihood outside of their platform, like J.K. Rowling, when you take that away from them.
Yeah, the J.K. Rowling's transphobe, yeah, and definitely shouldn't be given a platform. Good God, no.
If he were to suddenly turn around and he were to say, okay, the frogs aren't gay.
Yeah, but the point is, like, that's not someone. First of all, they're not going to believe him, you know. Inherently, the issue with propaganda and the issue with it is that once you turn away from it, it doesn't matter. You've put that into the minds of people now. That's too late. That's gone now, you know.
You know, and like
he was right about the frogs.
These
though,
people
which
aren't
is
controlling
weird.
the weather. He would have no platform to come and say that, which I consider to be a problem.
Am I the only one that's not in favor of this whole like forgiveness, you can come back thing?
It depends, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the thing is, right, first of all, inherently, you can't really go, oh, yeah, well, we should give them a platform because maybe they'll come back and they'll say they were wrong. And then everyone who listens to them will, not believe them and will continue and will actually push them aside. Yeah. So that means they'll never say that because you know what? They're better off just posting a link on like, you know, some, you know, reposted sort of thing and getting one of their friends to like repost stuff and that sort of stuff to, you know, donate money and, you know, get us to help us raise money to return to the platform. All that. They're better off doing that than they are coming back. You know,
I'm not because
and saying
I feel like it depends on the degree. Yeah, because I feel like I hate cancel culture. I hate the notion that we can essentially exile somebody from what they did. But on the same hand, I still believe that consequences are real. And if you do something that causes lasting damage, then you need lasting consequences. You know?
It's not necessarily that though. Do you not understand? This is how you get fascists. You get fascists because you allow them to put their propaganda in your media spaces. Like, do you understand? This is how you get your Nazis in power. Because you let them put propaganda in your media spaces. Because they're not gonna care about the truth. Because they're fucking fascist, buddy. They're fascist. Like, what they think.
You know, if somebody is a manslaughter, we put them in jail for life. If somebody, you know, does something.
Wait, what? For life? I mean, like.
Manslaughter. We put them in jail for life. If somebody, you know, does something to harm somebody for over a long period of time, you should not be able to redeem yourself and come back to the same place that you were when you caused that harm.
You're gonna have a niche audience like Alex Jones. I'm sure he still has
he's a
dedicated
niche
followers.
audience.
But to say that
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has an audience.
everybody needs to forgive you. Oh no,
Yeah,
because I might
I'm
not.
not a fan.
I
There has
don't
to be
personally-
consequence.
I don't personally. It depends on your religion. It depends on so many different things. But yeah, but I think people are able to come back to some extent, but they're hating on the fact that they're not able to make as much money.
I can think of personal instances where I had opinions that were heard out of context, that were rather moderate or something like that, where people had very visceral reactions and immediately things started to come apart.
How dare you.
And I wished for more of a chance to be heard. And like I'm not going to state these things, but they were not anywhere near the vein of what I was talking about earlier. These were things that were just kind of unpopular and easy to take out of context. And I wished that I had more of a chance for people to hear me out, as opposed to
Yeah, so you want to be popular.
kind of react viscerally from the start.
And I think there's also personal accountability. So for example,
Like if someone clipped me saying something and then they published it on their very popular YouTube channel, then obviously, yeah. But if I'm already popular, then it's not, I would be able to defend myself from that, you know what I mean?
if I say something online
Something
and a bunch of
personal.
people, whether they're my followers, especially if they're people who I know and trust and they have a really visceral reaction to it, sometimes I think what's missing on social media is that moment for self-reflection of like, did I say something that may have hurt other people? Can I get curious about it? I might not agree with that person being hurt, but can I at least empathize with it? Or do I want to get back on social media and say everyone is silencing me, so then I can have a more niche audience of people who only agree with me? Because at this point, I think that most people just want to feel seen, heard, and validated on the left and on the right. And I think there are a lot of people on the right that do not feel seen, heard, and validated. I'm not going to say that what you all are feeling is a figment of your imagination. I think it's coming from somewhere and needs to be attended to.
You know, you see all these bad things about happening to, you know, Trump supporters, and like they're getting their car keyed or stuff like that. And then my parents are always like, you know, maybe you should just keep it to yourself. And that's a shame, because I thought we lived in a society where we could talk about, you know, differing ideas, and we had that.
Where you got that idea from?
Platform to have that free speech and, you know, to have a healthy debate. And so it's kind of, I feel, especially my family and on social media, is that they want to put me into submission to suppress my voice and my conservative opinions.
Aw, poor you. What's that? Oh, the two main parties in America are conservative? Oh. Looks like, you fucking failed at that one, buddy. Whew. Looks like they failed at that one entirely.
I can kind of resonate with what you said, not necessarily from a family standpoint, but, you know, from a like large scale, generally speaking, when somebody sees like
doesn't look very happy. Not your man, but the other fan.
Somebody like me, just a black man, you know, like prominent in their beliefs about like, you know, the greatness of, you know, pre-colonial Africa, or, you know, just loving kente cloth and stuff like that. There are presumptions made, and it obviously doesn't make people like me feel seen or heard or understood, because you just seen me and made a bunch of assumptions, you know, assumed a bunch of things. Like, I think we kind of have that problem, not only with social media, but just in general. You know, there's biases. It's tough. You know, it's tough to have any different opinion or any different voice.
All right. You can bump it, whatever you want to do.
Whatever you guys prefer. Sorry.
Nice to meet you.
A lot of fun.
So yeah.
Thank you again to our sponsor Dashlane for making this episode of Middle Ground possible. Dashlane generates and securely stores all your passwords and login information on every website, so you never have to click forget password ever again on any device.
And if your Dashlane account gets hacked, yeah. Well, that was that. Thanks for watching that one. If you want to subscribe to me or Jubilee or all those things, if you want to find the original video, you can. There should be a link in the description. And thanks for all that. So yeah, I guess I'll just say bye-bye.